Bonjour, and what is up, everybody? Welcome to a special event at Spectator Podcast. Yes, I am now French. What is your problem? I'd rather be over there than over here. Anywho,
Je ne sais pas. Parlez-vous français?
This is
Comment estás?
as we
Habla
mentioned,
español?
special episode of Spectator Podcast. So we will not be talking about the games we played and all that
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
stuff. That's Saturday. But today we're going to talk about some madness, some chaos, and no, we're not talking about politics in North America. Or I'm sorry, United States of America. And we're not really united. We're going to talk about Xbox, Game Pass, and the shenanigans that are being played. This stemmed from Microsoft Xbox announcing that they are now doing a price hike for their super amazing best deal in gaming, Xbox Game Pass, and also PC Game Pass, where people are now getting frustrated up in arms, and well, Scott's going to break down.
So these are all the changes of Xbox Game Pass. So the first one, what used to be Game Pass Core, is now going to be called Game Pass Essential. It's going to basically include the online stuff. They're also now adding cloud gaming into the mix. They're also adding even Riot Games benefits for it. And the biggest part is, so Game Pass Core used to only have 24 games that would cycle through like every 3 months or something like that. Now it's going to be about 50 or more games. It's probably going to be more around 50-ish, just like 50, a little more than 50, like 52 at times. But essentially, it's just going to be double the old rate that Core was. So that will be nice. It's now going to be $9.99 a month. I believe it was like $7.99, so that one didn't change too much, at least price-wise. The difference now is they no longer give you like the more than 1 month fees. So before you could buy up to 3, you could buy 3 to like 6 months of Game Pass for a discounted price of Essential and Core. You can't do that anymore. It's only by month. So everything is by month now. There is no actual like 3, 6 months to 12-month subscriptions on any of these. These are all by month subscriptions now. But Essential, I think, got the best stick because it's doubling the amount of benefits you get from Core to Essential. The next one is Game Pass Premium. For the most part, this actually didn't change all that much. This used to be known Game Pass Console. The big change for this one is it actually now includes online multiplayer. So the dumb thing, a lot of people who like looked at the Game Pass before they had this change, is console didn't actually come with online multiplayer. You had to get both Game Pass Core and Game Pass Console to get the benefits of having your console, basically.
Which never made any damn sense to anybody at all.
It really made no sense at all.
If you were like a PC gamer who was like, I'm going to get Xbox, and like, wait, whoa.
Could I argue that for 1 second?
No,
because I actually don't. I actually don't agree. So the reason it did make sense is because if you didn't have a PC and you only had a console and you only ever intended to use Game Pass on console, signing up to the console tier and the tier that got you the online would save you a couple of dollars per month compared to signing up to Ultimate.
But you wouldn't get access to the cloud streaming though.
Yeah, so Ultimate still had a lot more benefits back then comparative to the console. But the last probably year, the Game Pass console has been starting to get erode itself. They stopped giving day one games on Game Pass console. They had a lot of problems with the benefits that they even did have with like Microsoft Rewards having issues. So Game Pass console really needed a rework, and so did Core. So this is actually, I think, a good way to remake Premium. Is now they're guaranteeing you that you won't get day one games, but you'll have at least a year before the games Xbox publishes get onto the service.
Yeah, I think they said within 12 months, right? I think that's what they said.
So within 12 months, you'll have Xbox published games. There is one caveat, though, is Activision games aren't included. So Call of Duty was the one big one they excluded, but most Activision titles won't be on the premium for some reason after a year. But it doesn't mean it won't be there permanently. It just means that it's not a guarantee for a year or within the year.
And you got to think about that for a second. What's happening in the next couple of months now, guys?
to Call
A
of Duty.
release of Call of
Call of
Duty.
Duty 7 Black Ops.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Black Ops 7. So, hey, guess what that means? It means either you upgrade to premium or you don't get it.
Yeah. So Xbox Game Pass Premium also is going to have cloud. Another big thing that's interesting is they're also going to be adding PC games onto the premium mix.
Yes.
So it's no longer just console. You can now play on the PC with a select amount of titles up to 200 games.
Yeah,
and that's over all three of them too. Like even the Essential does come with
even
PC,
the Essential,
console,
but I
cloud.
don't think the Essential is going to have a lot of benefits on the PC.
No.
I think it's
No, I
mostly
don't think so
catered to
either.
the console.
Yeah.
I think premium seems to be designed for people that want the value of Game Pass but aren't necessarily that concerned about day one access to games. Essentially, that's what it looks like they're trying to do with premium there.
Can I stop that?
Yeah.
Can I stop that for a second though? And I got what you're saying. And I'm not disputing that. But the marketing with Xbox has been, or Xbox Game Pass has been, play these games day one.
Yeah.
And now you don't get
Now
to play these games.
you'll
day one.
notice in the old Xbox commercials from like the last few months that no longer says day one on Game Pass. It says day one on Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, they did actually change the marketing a little while ago.
So that's another thing is that they kind of expected that they weren't going to be doing this for a while on getting day one games to the consoles.
And like Scott said as well,
Ultimate.
they did actually move away from doing day one on the console tier over a year ago, actually, I think it was. So this isn't a new thing. Like,
but it's something that people have been.
This is just something that they're clarifying because they never really clarified it during their announcement for the core and the console tiers.
Yeah.
So this is just them saying, yes, it's not day one, but you'll make sure that you'll have Xbox published games within the year they're published.
I will say that I like that they did clarify a little bit more because they never guaranteed people within a year either previously. Whereas, because they are doing that now, I think that's at least a good thing that they've given that information to people.
And they did also, they're also including cloud, though there is one fun caveat there in the tier system, is there's now a queue. The queue of the cloud is based on what tier you're a subscriber for. If you're Ultimate, you basically are immediately going to be in like the top of the queue. If you're Premium, you'll be at like the front of the queue. If you're an Essential, you're in the queue somewhere.
Where have we seen that before? Where have we seen
something called GeForce now?
Yeah, GeForce, I think, does that.
Although I will say
basically, it's like waiting in line in Disneyland. It's like Essential is now your standby. Premium is your everyday Joe getting in there just waiting in line for 2.5 hours to get on Pirates of the Caribbean, and Ultimate is your fast pass, genie pass, whatever they call it.
You have
these
the
days.
wristband.
You pay the extra $200 for the wristband.
Yeah.
No thanks.
I could be wrong about this, but I've used cloud a bit. I've used cloud a bit in the past, and I do actually think that there has technically always been a queue system.
No, there has just technically, but the queue hasn't really been very long. But that's because most of the people that have been in the queue now have been using the beta cloud.
True.
So the last 6 months, there's been the cloud beta because Xbox has been playing around with going above 1080p, where they're now gearing towards 1440p right now, which is their base.
I find it ironic that they're making these kind of changes too, because also not just this, but also the fact that their ROG Xbox Ally is coming out, and people are going to take advantage of Xbox Cloud.
So they wanted to do that because now Premium and Essential have certain PC games you can play.
But before we continue, just to do the quick Ultimate, they're saying 400 plus games.
Yeah.
PC, console, cloud. 75 plus Xbox day one games a year, including all Xbox published games day one.
Yep.
Ubisoft plus classics and EA Play included, and also Fortnite Crew is coming starting November.
Yes.
unlimited cloud gaming with the shortest wait times. In other words, you get your fast pass on. You get your right games benefit, online console multiplayer, and something to do with you can earn up to $100 a year and install with rewards.
Yeah,
I never understand how that goddamn reward. I've had this notification on my Xbox for years going, "Hey, you've earned $5 credit." I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, so let me dumb down this a bit. So Microsoft Rewards is a program that if you play games, use Bing, use Microsoft services, you could basically get points, and that points transitioned into money.
Yep.
So the way that they've been playing around, messing with the reward system the last few months, this is them finally basically capping the reward system. They've noticed a lot of people have used Microsoft Rewards to get Game Pass, mainly Game Pass Ultimate, because that was one of like their most like used reward tiers. Was if you get like 3,000 points or 30,000 points, you can get a Game Pass Ultimate subscription for like 3 months.
Yep,
and that's what people generally use.
And guess what? You can't do anymore.
And you,
Guess what
yeah,
you can't
can't
do anymore. You can't do that anymore.
I mean, let's be honest. The rewards are garbage. It's like, oh, you want to use rewards to get into this sweepstakes, or
the sweepstakes had like the cash rewards have never been that good because like it's like 30,000 for Game Pass Ultimate, or it's like 30,000 for like $5, like $10, and it's just like Game Pass Ultimate is the obvious choice.
I guess
it's a bit better here in the UK.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, nice.
In the UK, it was like 25 or 27,000 points for £25.
Okay.
Like, so it worked out that you could get 2 months of Game Pass Ultimate for slightly less points.
So the problem now they have with the system now is you have to have Game Pass in order to make above $20 a year in Microsoft Rewards points.
Yeah. Now I will also say, like, now we're going to start going into the negatives and stuff that they didn't.
Before we do that, before we go into
the stuff that they didn't promote in their advertising. Okay, this is stuff that has come out after the fact that people have discovered. Well, one, it's you can't stack.
You can no longer stack.
You can't stack.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can't go out there and buy like 3 years worth of Game Pass and stack it. You can't go out there. There's no 1 year option anymore, or 3 months, 6 months.
There's no more options.
You pay 1 month.
It's month. Everything's month.
Scott.
Yeah. I'll mute myself.
Oh, yeah. You don't need to do that, man. I trust you. Look, it's. And one of the other things, like the big thing that they've said, Fortnite Crew's coming into the system. What they don't tell you is you now have to launch Fortnite through the PC app or on your Xbox to activate that reward. It does not go with the Riot Game. Sorry, not the Riot Games. Epic Games launcher that most people uses.
What is that? I don't. What is that?
It's a battle pass.
Oh, okay.
That's all. That's all Fortnite Crew is. It's a battle pass. You get access to. There's like 4 battle passes via the game mode. So you got standard Fortnite, you've got the Lego mode, you've got music mode, and the OG Fortnite pass.
Okay, so I looked at it real quick. So it is limited for the stacking, correct? It says Game Pass Premium or Game Pass for console can only be extended up to 13 months. I know some people who have Game Pass Ultimate. Like
I saw
3 years.
Yeah, I saw people posting photos of like I'm good till like 2030.
So this is what I was trying to say. The stacking thing they actually did change a while ago. That's not a new change. That's something they changed like a year ago where they limited it. But people who did it previously, they didn't like retroactively be like, sorry, you can't do this.
They can't. They can't because if they did that, then Microsoft would be taken to like whoever the commerce companies. Like I know the UK had taken the court and go, hey, you're trying to steal people's money by doing that.
Absolutely.
I know our ACCC would do the same thing. They turn around and go, hey, you're trying to steal people's money, naughty boy, don't do it again.
Yes.
America, they go, we don't care.
Wait. So before we go, and I also wanted to make a mention because I have to mention my fellow PC friends out here. So PC Game Pass was also impacted. It got a price increase. it was like what, like $5 more.
Yeah, it went
now.
from
Yeah.
$12.99 to $16.99
So we got that.
for PC.
We still get the day one games only from Microsoft, and we still don't get cloud gaming.
Which is stupid.
So what was the point of increasing the price?
In case
Money.
you wanted an Ubisoft game.
It's all to push you towards Ultimate. That's the thing. The pricing, the way the pricing structure and the increases have gone through, it makes you look at it and go, hey, if I'm paying $19 for PC, then why for limited range don't get cloud gaming, etc., etc. And I just bought this brand new ROG Ally that I'm going to try and
He said
do
ROG.
cloud gaming. No, whatever. ROG, whatever. Suck my nuts. It's one of those things where the idea is you're paying $20 a month for the PC pass, but I want cloud gaming or something like that. Oh, look, an extra $10 gets me all this extra stuff. That sounds reasonable to me. That's the pricing structure, is to incentivize you to go from premium to ultimate.
Yeah,
because that's what they want you on. They want you on ultimate.
No,
So by
that's
making by knocking things around, making things look more appealing, they push you towards the higher tier. But
I'd rather that be my decision versus you trying to push me in that direction. And that's the problem a lot of people are having now. So let's talk about the negatives. What's going on here?
It went over so well with everybody that the Xbox website to cancel the subscription crashed.
Yes, of Disney Plus crashing because of what happened in the States not too long ago.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yep. It's almost like consumers are actually realizing that a lot of these systems are not geared towards the player, but more so the management and the company.
Whoa! Xbox never said they were for the players. That's another.
No, that was PlayStation, and well, we've seen what PlayStation Plus has become.
Yeah. So let's talk about why most people aren't fans of this price increase.
It's a 50% price increase to start with,
and they're justifying it. And they're justifying it by adding things that most people probably won't make use of. That's the other thing. So for people that do, it's great, right? Like, I know that Karl probably will talk about it shortly, but you had the discussion yesterday of, do you cancel one thing you're subscribing to or the other, right? Because there is a conversation to be had for those people. There's genuinely a conversation for them. But for most people who don't use Fortnite Crew and aren't interested in Ubisoft Plus Classics, like, this is just a price rise for the same thing that you were already paying for, right? You're not actually gaining anything extra on Ultimate. So
yeah, well, that was it. Like, the biggest problem that I saw with it, at least American people who were complaining about it, was like, oh, I like Ultimate. I don't mind, like, I want Fortnite Crew, but I don't want Ubisoft Classics or EA Play. So basically, I'm now paying for stuff that I don't want. And you've increased the price by pretty much the exact price that Fortnite Crew was going for anyway.
Let's also talk about the fact that gaming, the cloud gaming, it's also, the other tiers have it, but they get, and I hate to say it this way, but they get the inferior version of it now, because now Ultimate has 1440p, which is something people have been asking for ever since Xbox Cloud Gaming was a thing. And now, if you don't upgrade to Ultimate, you don't get that.
Correct.
Yeah, you're stuck with 1080p, which, to be fair, you never had in the first place in the other tiers. But
it's
see my thing for this, and for me and Jordan, it's different because our pricing structure is different to the US. It's not $30 all the way around. I went from I've been subscribed to the Game Pass Ultimate for quite a while. It went from what was it, about $12 a month to $15 to $18 to $22.95 a month. It now goes up to $35.95 a month.
That's crazy.
A $13 increase.
Yeah.
Now I also play Fortnite with friends. I get the Fortnite Crew Pass. That is $17.55 a month. So as Jordan said, I had to weigh up the options. Do I cancel Game Pass and just have the Fortnite crew? Or do I cancel Fortnite crew, keep Game Pass? Well, the saving by canceling Fortnite crew for me was $4.55. The saving for me for getting rid of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, $18.50 a month. And it's one of those things where ultimately it came down to one tiny thing that I mentioned before. In order to activate the Fortnite reward, I would have to migrate my game into the Xbox app or just play solely on my Xbox console. I don't want to do that. I like the Epic Games launcher guarantees that I will get the proper updates as quickly as possible. Xbox doesn't guarantee such things. So at the end of the day, I decided to drop Game Pass because, honestly, I wasn't going to pay $36 a month for a lot of stuff that I honestly wasn't using. I was using Game Pass to play on PC. And even then, it was like a few games a month that I would check out because I would either buy them or who knows, I might get lucky enough to get a review code for them, as we are lucky enough to be in that industry. But a lot of stuff, I've waited months upon months upon months to get a hold of. One of the big things, they did a big drop in conjunction with this announcement. A whole heap of Assassin's Creed games and everything else. I've already got the Assassin's Creed games. One of the ones I've been waiting the longest for was Hogwarts Legacy. Oh, look, I bought this for $15.
Yeah.
I think
I can wait until stuff gets cheap and buy it straight out. I'm willing to wait. I don't need everything day one.
As we sit here and we talk about this, I start thinking about, again, everybody's situation is completely different. And I'm looking at my situation. So I normally had Game Pass Ultimate for myself and or for my son, and I would use my points that I would get from Microsoft Rewards and buy Ultimate, which I can't do anymore. So that's strike number one. Strike number two is all the things that are in Ultimate that I likely won't use anyway, and I would just give the code to my son because I don't care. Because like Karl says, usually we get stuff or review, or I would just go out and buy the game that I want. I don't have my Xbox Series X connected in my office anymore. I likely will not reconnect it because, everything's an Xbox now. So there's that. And then I look at reasons why I would use Ultimate, which is just the cloud streaming, especially when I leave to go somewhere, or if I'm on a trip, or like I go to PAX or something and I want to play a game that I can't run on my laptop. But now they've pushed me more towards, oh, hey, look, there's NVIDIA GeForce Now. I can just play my stuff using that, and I don't need to pay you an extra $30-something for this and get better service. So it's really causing some kind of fragmentation across the board. I don't really think the people who made this decision thought this stuff through, which is why we're seeing a lot of people going, as you mentioned, well, I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need to pay for this service, or I can get away from paying with standard and doing everything else by myself. It's a bad call no matter how you try and justify it. It just doesn't make any sense.
Plus, you also have to look at the other thing as well. We have seen a big cultural shift, especially in the last, not even 3 or so months, where a lot of people are starting to ditch streaming services in general. Netflix being dropped, Disney Plus being dropped. People are starting to realize that the streaming service model or a subscription-based model is not worth what it used to be. Like once upon a time, like when Game Pass first started, I think Keith and I used to laugh because we were getting it for $1 a month for whatever it was for quite a while. Big value.
You'd open up a game and here's Game Pass. Okay, here's another Game Pass, and then they lock that down. Oh, you already have Game Pass. You can't use this one. But I got 10 games with Game Pass codes in it. How come I can't use them?
But it's the same. But
different Xbox accounts.
But the thing is, like, you're now you're seeing that cultural shift again. We're starting to go back to physical media again. A lot more people are realizing that with a subscription-based model, it is you will own nothing and you will be happy scenario. But a lot of people have gone, you know what? Screw that. I will go back to going secondhand stores. I will start going back to, let's go to GameStop and buy the games secondhand, even though we hate but that
I'll
stuff
never
like
buy
that. So
GameStop again, but I'm going to GameStop.
but the funniest thing, just slight tangent that's tangentially related. GameStop, after this announcement, put up a tweet or a post on Blue Sky and that saying our Game Pass Ultimate subscription cards are still $20 and we will sell you as many as you like.
Yeah, because people don't see, and that's the thing. People don't understand that they'll sell you as many as they want at the same price, which I don't understand how that's going to keep working. But
it won't. They'll be forced to replace stock once.
They
probably
don't
November.
tell people that these can't stack now.
Yeah,
and it's being enforced. It was a thing. I looked it up back in 2024. It was a thing, but apparently it wasn't being enforced. It's being enforced now, guys. You can't stack anymore. So that's going to be a thing.
But the thing is, like, you can't stack. But at the same time, if you're buying the cards technically have no expiry date. So you could go out and buy a year's worth, 2 years worth, 3 years worth, whatever.
Yeah.
And just have them sitting on your desk. And every time your subscription comes up, you go, cancel, enter code, done.
Yep.
There are people that will find ways around this.
People are going to try. They're going to try. And you got to wonder. So I saw an article and it said the return of greedy Microsoft. And I don't deny that. But I wonder if it's more.
What return? They've always been greedy.
It's gotten better over the years, and now it's just like, no, screw it. We're going to go back to the ways we were before. But I'm wondering now, will Xbox pay attention to the frustration and the people going, you know what, we're canceling, or will they go, you know what, we don't care. We got enough people that are paying for these things that aren't going to cancel, that we really don't care, and we will get more people because. Let's not forget, people still want to get games day one. Forza Horizon 6 was announced. You know when people are going to try and get Game Pass Ultimate because it's day one?
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
So I actually want to jump in here because it ties back to something I wanted to speak about, which Karl mentioned earlier, how it's a bit different for me and him with the price increase being slightly different. Over here, it's gone from £15 a month to $22.49 per month. So £7.50. And just for full transparency, to get Fortnite Crew and Ubisoft Classics, because Ubisoft Plus is a weird system where, although it's available on Xbox, you can only get Ubisoft Plus on Xbox if you sign up to the top tier of Ubisoft Plus. So to get access to the Ubisoft Classics and Fortnite Crew, it would cost you roughly £24 a month here to get those things. And Game Pass Ultimate is going to have both of those and is only going up by $7.50 a month. So again, it comes back to that thing of it depends on lots of variables, right? How much do you use Game Pass? How much do you care about day one games specifically? Do you use any of the services that they're adding already? And every single person is going to have a different circumstance on those. But what I think is interesting in terms of the cancellations and stuff is I would suspect that in them doing this restructure, they probably would have thought, okay, there's going to be a certain percentage of people that cancel because of this. I wonder whether that percentage is going to end up being bigger or smaller than they think.
That's what I was
thinking. And that will ultimately impact whether they respond in a different way or not. Because let's be honest.
If they respond.
Yeah. Because let's be honest, there has been times before where when they've had a real negative outcry, they will reverse certain things. They tried to do certain things with Xbox Live in the past, like doubling the price or whatever it was. And it was so they do. as much as they're a crazy, horrible corporate company, right, that is all about making money, they ultimately still understand that there is a line, and there's so far that you can push people before it isn't worth it anymore. So I think they will be listening to this stuff, but again, they'll have numbers in the background of like what is acceptable to them, right? Because if only 10% of people cancel, for example, what real difference does that make when you've risen the cost by 50% every month for everybody else who keeps it?
That's the thing. It is definitely an off-put thing, but 10% of people, even if 10% of people drop Game Pass, if they're all Game Pass Ultimate subscribers, which a lot of them would be, that's a lot of money dropping. Even the increase wouldn't offset it as much as you're thinking it is. Like 10% of multi-millions is still multi-millions.
Now, to add to what Jordan said, and this is something I really want to hammer home to everybody, it's not getting frustrated or complaining or ranting about a price increase. We understand that companies are here to make money and to make their investors money. That's how the world works. We all know capitalism 101. But a 50% price increase,
especially in a time where a lot of countries in this world are having a cost of living crisis, or a situation where people are having trouble keeping a roof over their heads. Obviously not Scott, who recently bought a house, or Keith, who owns his house. More so
I wish I owned my house. I'm still paying on it. I'm still paying. Trust me.
But like it's like people having trouble keeping a roof over their head. They're having trouble keeping bills paid. They're having trouble keeping food on the table.
They're having problems
keeping gaming, and having trouble keeping a job. And gaming might be their only reprieve from all this negativity in the world. And Microsoft's just come along and said, "Oh yeah, we're going to jack the prices by 50%."
Not to mention, this is supposed to be their most profitable, or one of the most profitable offerings, and you just decide to raise the price again. How many times have we seen a company go, this is the best year of our profits ever since. We've been so profitable that we've made $1 gazillion on top of what we made last year.
This is the thing. Didn't their gaming segment as a whole make the most profit that they've ever made in an individual year in the last 12 months?
Said,
and it's like,
needed.
And the other thing is, it's like a lot of us have gone through recently an Xbox increase very recently. I know here in Australia, the jump from $18.95 to $22.95 only happened back in August. So it's not even been, it's been 4 months since our last price increase, and now they've gone and increased prices again. What's going to happen 3 months down the track, 6 months down the track? They're going to jump the price again?
That's the biggest concern, right? Is this sets a bad kind of precedent for, are they just going to be like every 6 to 12 months? Oh, sorry, we're putting it up by another 50% now.
You're going to price people out of it. That's the problem.
Or is this them figuring out where the line is and then going, okay, now we understand where the line is, that this is where it's staying for the foreseeable future until a significant change?
Well, I hope that the fact that the Xbox cancellation page on their website crashed is a big enough indication to them that people are leaving in droves worldwide.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how much you complain on Twitter or Blue Sky or Facebook or whatever. They don't care about that. They ignore all that. When people start canceling in droves to this level where they actually crash part of the website, that's something that they need to be taking notice of. Whether they do or not is still up to management. But if I was somebody at Microsoft right now looking at how many people have dropped off in the last 48 hours, or however long it was since this announcement was made, I'd be looking at those numbers going, that's not good.
I would also like to say, as a joke here, Microsoft also runs internet information servers, so it's not hard to crash that also. So it's not like they're running an ad or something, guys. So they're running that on top of resource pools, and
there's one thing I wanted to mention that nobody's mentioned yet. But I think that another thing this could lead to is a lot more people doing the thing where they'll sign up for a month when a game that they really want to play comes, and then they'll cancel, and then they might sign up again 6 months later. I think you'll get a lot more people that don't just leave their subscription running all the time.
That's pretty much what Keith said with Forza 6. Like, people are going to sign up to play Forza 6, and then they might play it for a month and then drop off.
Either better, what they'll do is they'll buy it, they'll get the Game Pass, they'll play it for a week, a month, and go, okay, this game is worth it. Cancel it and just go buy the game outright.
Yeah.
They'll use the Game Pass discount to get the game anyway, discount, and then cancel the Game Pass.
See, what people don't understand or what they're not thinking about is if you had left the Game Pass pricing where it was, people are not the best when it comes to canceling subscriptions. They'll let it run and run and forget about it. But now you're saying, oh, wait, you're charging me how much more money a month? No, I'm going to make sure I'm on top of that.
Yeah.
That's why you see more and more services now. They go, oh, we can check your account and see what your subscriptions are and tell you which ones are overdue and which ones you may not want.
And they've brought it into people's minds, right? By doing this price rise, it's like the people who might have forgotten about it and just be letting it run now realize, oh, you're actually charging me way more than I thought. Because there are some people I know that still think it was on last year's price here in the UK and didn't realize that it had gone up even last year. So it's interesting, because
could you imagine what this would be like if we were still in like the age of like the PS2 or something like that, where you could actually modify the consoles and that to run. You download the game off the internet, put it onto a Blu-ray disc, and shove it in your Xbox. Pirate the living crap out of it. Could you imagine how many people would now be turning around and going to piracy because of this?
Yeah.
I also think we're going to lose a lot of people just because the fact that you cannot use rewards on Ultimate or anything anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that I knew that did that.
You would get people that
rewards for
you would so many, do that, and then they would transfer over to an actual paid subscription. Not anymore.
Yeah, that a lot of people were saying that. I was like, because I can't use my points anymore, I'm not going to bother. Like that was a big thing. Like online, people saying, "Oh, I used to use my points. Now I'm not allowed to." Well, guess what? You're not allowed to get my money.
Yeah, if you've been looking at the Microsoft Rewards program for the last, say, like 7 months, it's been slowly degrading.
Definitely.
So now is probably the peak of that degrade.
And that's the thing. Like now that you've taken out the rewards or made the rewards hard, like you can't use for Game Pass or anything, people are now looking at Game Pass and going, am I going to be able to work? Is this worth the $30 I'm going to be forced to pay for it? And you got people online who are going, oh, you got 400 games or whatever that's worth this amount of money, $5,000 or whatever. And, you're only paying $360 a year for the subscription. And it's the value and this, that, and the other. I said, I believe Matt put it in our Discord. You would need to play and finish 2.5 games a week or something, or a day or something, in order to make value of a year's worth of Game Pass. Now, tell me who's going to sit there and grind games like that outside of Scott?
I was going to say Scott.
we know Scott doesn't sleep. We know Scott doesn't eat. He works and he plays video games. That's all we know he does.
So just to clarify that slightly, I'm reading it here in the Discord. It was 2.5 games a month is what Matt said.
There you go.
But he was also adjusting for the fact that, if you take out the publisher's share of a game and all, like if you actually consider what you're really paying for with a game, that was his argument, is you would have to finish 2.5.
But there's so many people who are defending this, going, oh, but the value, 400 plus games, and you get 7, and on top, and this is where I hate marketing. On top of that, you get 75 plus new games, so it could be close to 500 games. No, that 75 plus games is included in that 400, you moron.
Yes.
No more math.
And it's one of those things where, how many games are you going to play? And also the rotation of games as well matters. A lot of the games that Microsoft has that is included in that 400 are ones that are going to stick around forever. You know, your Gears of War, your Halos, stuff like that. That stuff sticks around. Once you played it once, are you going to play it again? Maybe, maybe not. A lot of
Depends on the
people
game.
will play maybe 1 or 2 games every 3 to 6 months to completion, which means you're not really getting your value's worth. Like, sure, having 400 game library sitting there looks impressive until you realize you barely play it, which was one of
if you're
my
not
biggest, which was
using
one of
it.
my problems.
Yeah.
Not to
And
mention,
that-
guys, I don't think Microsoft thought about this because if you now can't get access to these subscriptions via rewards, what does that also mean for Microsoft? People are probably not thinking about this one. What does it mean? What does it mean?
It means that people are going to cancel and not
It
bother
means
with the
less
service.
people are going to be willing to use Bing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Usage.
True.
If there's no benefit,
People use Bing?
They use it for
Bing
Microsoft
reward.
Rewards. Yeah.
I only use Bing to find Nanite so I can install better browsers.
Well, that's also going to cause more use Bing. I don't think they thought about that because the reason why people use Bing a lot is
God,
to get the points.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
Oh, God, I'm now trying to remember the last time I did use Bing. Yeah, it was when I upgraded to Windows 11 and I had to find Nanite in order to install everything else on my computer.
But
I use
yeah, if
Bing
you
because Google sometimes sucks now.
Sometimes it sucks.
No, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right there.
10 times it sucks.
if you could see me right now, though, I am actually clapping what Karl said just now because he really sort of nailed it. Of like, ultimately, the value of this service isn't about how many games are available on it. And this is why it becomes a personal thing because the actual value of the service to you as an individual is about how many games per year are you going to play on it. And then even if you want to dig a bit deeper, realistically, how many of those games would you have bought day one at full price and then figuring out that math, right? So for me, for example, I know that I would have played about 7 or 8 games that have been day one this year on day one, and I would have bought them full price. So even at this increased price rate, it actually would have been worth it for me because I would have saved money.
The last game that I played day one via Game Pass was Tony Hawk's 3 and 4.
Nice.
And I'm sure I can walk into CEX or something right now and buy it for about half price.
You probably can, yeah.
Yeah. But before that, I played Bellatra.
Fair.
Only because I saw my brother playing it and I saw it on Xbox. I was like, oh, okay, I'll give this a go.
Wait, you mean you didn't see Matt talking about the game every freaking day?
No, I ignored him when he was going through that phase, just like I ignore you when you go through your Dark Soul phases.
I haven't played Dark Soul in like a year, 2 years.
Yeah, but you've played Dark Soul-esque games. You played
Souls-like.
How many hours of Night Rain have you played, Keith? I saw your post about this yesterday.
I said I have 333 hours in Night Rain.
There you go.
You have more than that.
And that game came out, 6 months ago at the most?
How many? I'm willing to bet you people have thousands of hours in Marvel Rivals, so you can't.
I'm sure they do.
Oh,
I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
Don't
definitely.
get me started on Fortnite.
I used to have so many hours in Overwatch.
How many people are playing that right now because of the K-pop Demon Hunters? Let's not go there.
Give me a second. I could probably tell you exactly.
Everybody's playing it. It's like, oh, I gotta get those K-pop guys.
Yeah.
I'm
the female demographic
that,
the best way they know how. No,
But
wrap it up though.
The main thing is at the end of the day, it's up to you whether you get personal value out of Xbox Game Pass or not, and which tier you want to use. A lot of people said that maybe it's time to drop Ultimate and go to Premium. Some people just go, all right, well, I'll just go PC Game Pass because, I'm not using the other stuff. Again, it's your personal preference. Yes. Nobody's really going to stop you from like going, oh no, got to do X, Y, Z.
But what about those Xbox trolls on Twitter and Blue Sky and Reddit?
No, who cares about them?
They don't play Xbox games anyway. Most
Right?
of the
You think
time.
about that? They're talking about
No, they play, but they're the ones who will complain and then turn around and keep giving the company money.
Yes.
That's the stupid thing. By the way, Keith, Fortnite hours played 1,086 hours and 20 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
This guy's
Put the 4 digits here, people.
And I'm sure my World of Warcraft overall playtime is even worse.
Oh my god! Yes, see,
That's why
that was
RuneScape has it in days instead of hours, so you can't.
that was the
multiple hours a day. Oh, I know.
But that was also the other thing too. Like a lot of people, at least in the World of Warcraft community, I did go and have a look at this because obviously we know Activision now owned by Microsoft. One of the big things that I know Josh and I sort of were a big component for was we want to see the World of Warcraft subscription be rolled in the Game Pass. After this, like there were quite a few people talking about it on the World of Warcraft forums, and I just went in there. I went, they just added $10 because they added Fortnite Crew. What the fuck do you think is going to happen if they add World of Warcraft to it?
I don't
Another
think that's ever gonna
$20.
happen. It makes them too much
Yeah,
money that way.
you want to start paying $50 for Game Pass
No.
Ultimate so you can play World of Warcraft? No,
No, you don't.
Into existence because people will pay that.
I don't want to will that into existence. After seeing what they've done, just because they added Fortnite Crew into it, no. I'm sorry. I don't want to see. I would rather pay a like what I'm doing now with World of Warcraft. I would rather pay the separate subscription for that than have it roll into Game Pass and end up paying more for a lot of junk I don't need.
Yep.
And that's the big thing is a lot of people you're going to be paying for stuff that you don't need. As we've seen, a lot of people don't want Ubisoft Classics or EA Play. There's the rotation system, which means a lot of stuff's going to be popping in and out of the system every year. And it's just become like every other streaming service. Oh, look, here's something we don't like, or that's not giving us, enough money, or we're going to pull it out of rotation, or something gets deleted, or something like that. You don't, with these systems, you don't ever own anything.
Yeah.
And it's getting ridiculous. And for all those who are going back to physical media, keep going. Send the message.
Keep buying those discs.
Karl is a massive fan of physical media, if you could not tell.
Yes, because guess what? This thing is eventually going to leave Game Pass.
It is.
You know what? You see this thing I'm holding in my hand. You see this thing inside. When it disappears off Game Pass, I still have this. I can still play this.
I wish I could. Oh wait,
That's the goddamn point.
Have this.
Before we wrap up, there's one more quick thing I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what they should have done, or what they should potentially consider doing that might fix this entire issue, is make things like Fortnite Crew, Ubisoft Classics, EA Play, optional add-ons where you can increase the price, where maybe you still save some money, right? If you want those things, so you get a discount as like a bundle situation, but they are not forced on people that don't want them. I think they could potentially do something like that.
Say if you want to go for Ultimate with Fortnite Crew, it adds $3-4 onto it.
That's what I think they could do. Yeah, I think that's what they could do to potentially fix this if they look at alternatives.
They could have also just, absorbed it.
True, very true.
Multi-billion-dollar company. Oh no, we have to take a couple of $1 million hit to let people play Fortnite via Game Pass.
But they can never make enough money, and that's the problem, right?
No.
That's
They want a balloon.
Because not only have they put their subscriptions up, it now costs even more to buy the consoles.
Yes. which are 5 years old, might be asked.
Who would have
Anywho,
thunk
we're
that
gonna
they were
wrap
going to be
this up.
investments buying it at
We
launch?
got people who've got to go somewhere, so we don't want them to be late. So thanks for stopping by this special episode of Spectator podcast. I'm talking about Xbox and Game Pass and frustration. I don't think any person here has been happy about this change.
No.
And as you can read by my little Xmas thing here, I'm not paying $36 for Game Pass. I've made that very obvious throughout the entire podcast.
And I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video or listening to the show, that you're probably not happy about it either. So I think the best thing that people can do is continue to cancel the Game Pass, continue to notify Xbox and Microsoft. Go, this is BS. We don't agree with this, and see what happens. That's literally it.
We've always said you vote with your wallet.
Yeah.
And in situations like this, when massive cancellations of subscriptions are happening, this is what management will start listening to. When you affect the bottom dollar, that's when they pay attention. Not by ranting and raving on Twitter or Blue Sky or Reddit or whatever.
Or if you're still on Facebook.
No, if you're still like the half a dozen people that are still on Facebook. By canceling your subscription, you are sending the message that you will not tolerate this type of behavior. And if enough people do it, they will listen, they will backpedal, hopefully. Yeah. If they don't, well, then that's their loss.
And that's the only thing I could say is, look, as we mentioned before, you all have to decide for yourself whether the service is still worth it or not. But if it's not worth it to you, then cancel. But just be aware as well, because I've seen a few people doing this. If you've got like 3 years running on your Game Pass, it's not going to matter to them if you cancel it because you're tied in for 3 years anyway.
Right.
So this is something that affects more the people that are already paying monthly.
The month-to-month subscribers are the ones that are going to show them what's going on.
And to the moron who argued with me on Blue Sky about this and likening this to health insurance is a requirement, and playing something on the internet or your Xbox or your PC is not. You moron. All right, thanks for stopping by, folks. We'll see y'all later.
See you.
See ya.
That's Scott's line. Don't steal it.